Hi everyone, Layla Furman here with Juicy Colors. And today I just wanted to touch a little bit on juicing. I'm going to keep it really brief because I know everybody's busy and there's a lot going on about juicing, but I wanted to make it really simple because lately I've noticed a lot of people are asking about juicing or having a debation about it and saying things such as, what's the difference between juicing and smoothies, or isn't smoothies better because you get to uh, actually have the fiber from the juice from the smoothie, or when you eat it whole. Here's the thing: all of these foods. Well, let's talk about fruits and vegetables because they are the main number one human foods, and they are the foods that will hydrate us because they're so high in alkaline water, and it was the foods that's always been intended for us to eat. Some way down the line, when men had to hunt and so on, this is when they discovered meat, and eventually through the late 1800s, early 1900s, in the Western culture, they made it into something really huge, and it became like part of the meal, and eventually, people started to eat heavier, denser foods. And now here in the US, there's more foods that are processed, that are packaged, and meats that are filled with GMOs, which is genetically modified organisms, when they take one DNA from a specific animal and implant it into another animal or a plant. And there's just too much going on that is putting our health at risk. Number one, that is the main cause of overweight, obesity, and also people being underweight as well are battling with this. And that's because we're putting in a lot of foods that are toxic in our body, and it's causing us to be up the roof with all kinds of health issues and weight issues and emotional issues and so on. So here's the reason. This is exactly why juicing plays such a vital role today. It's actually been around for about 75 years. But the reason why it is so important, and again, I'm not going to compare it to smoothies, they all play a major part. Now, juicing is so important because it actually skips the digestive process in the body, but it goes directly into the bloodstream, automatically starting to awaken the toxins that's in the body, because they're usually numb when they're in there, and our body stores so much, so God knows how much we all have in there of toxicity. And also remember that when we eat a lot of heavy foods, we're not dishing out nearly 40% of what we're taking in on a daily basis. So just think about that for a moment. It could be a little overwhelming, but this is why juicing is so important, because it goes directly to the bloodstream. It starts to wake up all these yucky toxins, and it's not just from foods that we eat, but also the air that we breathe, certain things that we expose to on a daily basis, on a monthly basis. We have to be aware of these things, but the juicing automatically starts to awaken this, and starts to also help us with the process of dishing it out. It softens our colon. A lot of us are also very extremely constipated. If you're doing number two, once a day, and you think that that's normal, it really isn't, because ask yourself, how many times are you eating per day? And that's how many times you should be going, or at least 3 times a day. And if we're not doing that, then something is wrong, or heading to the not so great direction. I don't like to focus so much on negative things, but I do have to talk about some of them because it is important. Because I believe once we're aware of what's going on in the body, what we're putting in, then we could really set up a great plan and focus on the things that are actually good for the body, and start to take more of that in, so that we can be healthy and feel better. and not having to struggle with, all the crazy things that are out there. So that is one of the main things about juicing. It also fills us up with tons of oxygen. It gives oxygen through the body because, like when you have certain things, with a little bit of citrus goes such a long way that it starts to, like a lot of us are like have heavy inflammation and mucus in our body and toxins. So these juices it's kind of like, it's almost like when you use bleach on your clothes to rid of that stain. You can grab a white shirt with, red sauce on it, let's say beets, and you could throw it into the machine and put plenty of soap in it. But once it comes out, the shirt might be slightly clean, but the stain is still there. That's kind of like a way that you can look at the body. So the real stain, the thing that's really toxic, sticks into the body. Our body has so much space. Now imagine I kept grabbing this shirt and adding beets and washing it again. Second time around, I add more beets and wash it again. That it will have stains all over, although it may appear to be clean. So this is why juicing is important. When juicing goes in, it's like the bleach. It's going to get the white back on. It's going to regenerate your body. It's going to repair your body and give you tons of energy. A lot of us are lacking on energy because even, let's say if we're having smoothies, well, we're still eating a lot of dense foods that are not alkaline, that don't have water from the plant, from the actual fruit that the body recognizes. So it goes in, and now, the digestive process has to deal with it. And if it takes, a lot for it to even process the digestive, then once it gets to the intestines, your abdomen area, it's kind of going to stay there going around in circles. And don't forget, we're like a motor system, and we heat at a very high temperature. It's kind of like having your stove on triple on high, of what your stove actually cooks for. So, and that could be scary because, it's like, this is the kind of stuff that's happening to our body. We want to focus on foods that are clean, that are healthy, that goes in and out, quick exit foods. So juicing is extremely important and should be done daily. If you want to have smoothies, that's super, that's great. That means you're adding more fruits and vegetables into your diet. So go ahead and do that as well. And at the same time, it'll keep you nice and full, and you don't have to eat so much. And then also focus on lots of greens, leafy greens. They're so healing. They like juicing. They go in, they wash away toxins, heavy metals, estrogen, which is things that, if you're exposed to like computers and radiation, food from microwave, these are all things that feeds us in some kind of shape or form and is very toxic. So this is why juicing is so important. And then you also want to have your whole fruits and vegetables too. You build, nice strong teeth. And again, it's foods that the body recognizes. So it's going to digest it properly. Unlike if you were to have, a bag of chips. Well, we know it's like bad for you, but it's like beyond just the weight. It's actually leaving tons of toxins in your body. So juice daily and always have more vegetables and then less fruit. So if you have an entire glass, 16-ounce glass, fill it up 3/4 to the top and then add like 1 apple and a lemon or something like that, instead of, juicing all these different fruits. Then it's going to be too high on sugar, but the thing that you're really trying to avoid is the acidity that it's going to have. So it's not really so much the sugar intake that can be so bad, but the acidity that can contribute to more toxins in your body, and those are the things that you want to avoid. So Focus on juicing, and also have your smoothies. That's great. Have some salad. Focus on, having as many natural foods that are at its natural state. So the less it's cooked, the better. But of course, cooked vegetables are also neutral. It might lose a lot of the enzymes and some minerals as well, depending on how much you heat it for or the temperature that it's on. But it's still neutral. It's not going to leave, tons of toxins in your body, unlike, a big sandwich meal or, like a microwave burger or something like that can be really toxic. So focus on juicing, have your smoothies, have your foods at its natural state. That is the best way, and that you're going to have clean foods and it's going to exit the body quick and properly, meaning it's not going to leave tons of residue in your body like, all the other densely dehydrated diets do. So I hope this was helpful, and I plan to have, lots more videos on the simple little things. But I know that people ask about it all the time and things that we need to know. So in the meantime, stay as clean as you can. Ciao.